Alright, finally got out to the range. Put some rounds through the XD Mod 2. First shots that I ever put through it. Fired today. Fired about 40 rounds. Maybe 30 actually. Somewhere around there. And awesome gun. Very, very awesome. I'll show you the target in a minute. And then, of course, the VP9. Second time taking this one out. Fired about 50 rounds through this one. Shot very well also. Had one malfunction though, and I'll explain that when I show the targets as well. So, besides those two, obviously those are mine. I went to the shooting range, and of course they rent guns there, and I decided to rent a few. And they have you pay a one-time rental fee, and you buy their ammo, and then you can shoot however many guns you want there. You just, once you shoot one, you bring it back and take another one out for as long as you want, up until the time limit runs out, which is like an hour long, which worked perfectly for me. There was 3 guns that I tried out today that I've been wanting to try for a while, and one of them was a Springfield Range Officer, obviously a 1911, and a 9mm. The first grouping I did is over here, as you can see. It's a pretty decent group. It's high, but very tight group. Almost all of them were connected there and here. A couple of shots down here, one flyer way up there and up here. But of course, like I said, it grouped high, but it grouped in a very nice group. Once again, Springfield Range Officer 1911 in a 9mm. Never shot one before. I was like, I really want to try a 1911 and a 9mm. Pretty awesome. Second bunch of shots that I did were over on this side here. Adjusted the point of aim down to the bottom of this circle, the big red circle, because I was aiming dead center on this one, so I figured if I dropped it a couple inches, my rounds should come down. Well, for the most part, they kind of did. Still had a decent group right there. Got a couple more, towards the actual center. It still had some flyers up here, but I didn't have this long string of shots up here. So it did make a decent adjustment there. I could have still done more. Part of it's just the way I was shooting. I did notice after I did this group that the rear sight was adjusted very high. It wasn't my gun. I didn't have a screwdriver to adjust it back. I didn't play around with it. I just adjusted my sight picture. Still apparently wasn't enough, but I'm still pretty impressed with how it shot. But 1911s kind of naturally shoot very well, and I shoot them well. They fit my hand good, so I think it's part me and part the gun. The reason why I got the groups as good as they were, because I could have done worse. But not trying to brag or anything, because I'm sure they could be a heck of a lot better too. But after having never shot that gun before, I was pretty impressed. Second gun I rented was a Glock 17. My first group was actually this one over here. As you can see, I had quite a few where I jerked the trigger a bit, flinched, kind of anticipated the recoil. Biggest thing with the Glock 17, the main reason why I have not owned one before, don't really plan on it either. The grip angle is such a funky angle. It doesn't seem that extreme until you compare it to another pistol. It's actually a fair amount. It doesn't look that horrible, but when you feel it, for me, after having never fired one before, you used to pretty much every other pistol, the grip angles being pretty much the same, as every other pistol, except for the Glock. When you have an actual Glock in your hand, it really kind of throws me off. Other people are probably used to it, just not me. I didn't do horrible, but like I said, I did drop quite a few rounds down here. Did have one kind of high shot there, but the rest of them were in a pretty decent group there. The second grouping that I did was over here. Once again, just like this one, I shot mostly to the left, almost entirely on this section. This one I had a couple over to the right, but this one was almost entirely over here, and it was better. I didn't have as many down low, but not too bad. And I guess when I was shooting, I thought I was doing even worse than this. My eyesight sucks at a distance, so it's hard to tell. It's only 7 yards, but 7 yards is far enough when you're like partially blind anyways. But once again, Glock 17, I shot pretty decent with it, but to me the way the grip angle is, it makes you, you know, you're holding a normal gun kind of straight out. The Glock, you have to hold it more like that, which is just, to me, it just throws me off. After shooting it a while, I'd probably get used to it, but considering how I shot these guns for the first time and the second time for the H&K VP9, but the first time I shot that was pretty decent. You know, having a gun that I shoot for the first time and I can get used to like pretty much right away, that's kind of important to me. And part of it has to do with, that's kind of why I got those guns. It feels right in the hand. It's kind of got a natural point of aim, and that to me is a big selling factor, or a big reason why I bought them. To me, that's what would sell me the gun. But the third gun I rented was an M&P9 compact, and the reason why I rented this one, even though I have kind of its competition here, is because I was really torn between the XD Mod 2 and the M&P9 compact. The M&P9 compact, I've had an M&P9 before. I had it in a full size. It was a VTAC. I have a couple videos of that. I shot it okay. Never shot it all that well, and it just never was a gun that really, besides like the cool color and the nice features of the fiber optic and combination night sights, it never really appealed to me all that much, so I ended up getting rid of it. But when I looked at getting a double stack concealed carry piece, this one I had just read about, and I was like, you know, I really got to look into that. And then I saw like its competition, which is the M&P9 compact, and I was like, that's one ergonomically that I could really see having. It already came with the grip extension on the bottom, where this one I had to get Pierce extension for because it didn't have that. So that kind of was a nice feature. But other than that, the M&P9 compact was kind of boring, and I'm like, well, I was kind of torn between the two. I finally decided to go with the XD Mod 2. But I just wanted to rent one just to kind of see how it shot, especially since I was shooting this for the first time today. I figured I'd shoot that one for the first time today too and see how it was. You can see my shots were kind of all over the place. I had a couple high shots. Actually, I think that was a low shot from this group here, so I don't think I ever really put any shots too high, as you can see on the top target. This one I don't think I shot. This one was from this group, because I had a couple of low ones down here as well. But I mean, I guess they were reasonable groupings, but to me it just felt like I was shooting it all over the place. So it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't all that bad either. But I'm glad I went with the XD Mod 2, because if you look at the target up here, this is the XD Mod 2. Once again, I've never fired this gun before until today. I put, what, 3 mags through it maybe? One flyer, one that dropped low, and I jerked the trigger on that one. That was one of the later shots too. I don't think I actually shot that until late in the game, and I don't know what the deal was. I just flinched or something and screwed that up, because almost every single one of my shots was within this thick red circle, and that to me, for having never fired the gun before, brand new out of the box, that is amazing, and that's a hell of a group. Like I said, amazing pistol, and I'm really glad I went with it. Maybe after shooting the M&P9 compact for a couple more magazines, I would have gotten it down to where I would have been able to produce a group similar to this. But once again, having not fired this gun, period, up until today, to be able to put that on paper right away, that's awesome. So I cannot complain about this. It feels right. Once again, the grip extension might make a big difference. If I didn't have that on here and my pinky was hanging down, maybe that would made a bit of a difference, kind of made it kind of wobble, I don't know, made the grip kind of weird, and I might have flown a couple of shots in other directions all over the place, so it might have been a more sloppy group. But to me, that was freaking awesome. So huge thumbs up, boom, just like that, for the XD Mod 2. You cannot go wrong with this pistol. At least I don't think you can. I'm sure somebody out there will chime in with one reason why they think that this thing sucks or whatever. it really is an awesome pistol, and I highly recommend anybody out there looking to get one, or a similar compact pistol for carry or whatever. Rent one, try one out. If your buddy has one, maybe borrow it for a little bit, or take it to go to the range with them and try it. Awesome pistol, and the trigger on it's actually really good. It's easy to kind of read when it's going to go off, how much slack you have. You can kind of get used to it pretty easily. The VP9 was a little trickier. The Glock was a bit trickier. That just kind of threw me off, and that might have been one of the reasons. Like I said, if I shot them more, I would have probably gotten used to them. I'd probably be able to produce really good groups, pretty similar to that. But having never fired this, to be able to produce that, that's awesome. And I think that would kind of be the same for a lot of other people. Last but not least, H&K VP9. Second time taking this one out. I did have a hiccup with this one. And that was the result here, and it was a failure to feed. The round did not strip out of the magazine. The round ejected out of the chamber, the previous round, but it did not strip the one off of the magazine, so it closed on an empty chamber. When I fired, it got a click, and I was like, what the heck? And I cleared the chamber, actually ejected the mag, then racked it, cleared it, made sure there was nothing in there, and then popped the magazine, noticing there was another round still in the mag. Fired it. That was the last round in the mag, so it was kind of odd. Caught me off guard. Jerked the trigger pretty substantially on that one, but otherwise every other round was in the red circle, smaller one, and the majority of them were in the thicker red circle, so that was awesome. Don't know why it happened. I was shooting my reloads through these two handguns, factory commercial ammo that I had to buy at the shooting range for the rest of the stuff. So I don't know if maybe the consistency would have something to do with that. I doubt it. I do think it has to do with the handguns. But these guns, there's their targets. Freaking awesome. So those are my results. I'm going to keep it short here. It's already dragged on long enough. You hear me babbling. So, but I figured I'd post this because it's actually some range results. And you know, a little bit of a post shooting range results, I guess, of the XD Mod 2. It's an awesome pistol, and I hope to shoot it a lot more. I hope to get to the range probably in another week or so, and I'll probably go with a few other people, so I'll actually get some video footage of that, of me actually shooting it or whatever, or whoever I'm with, them actually shooting it too. And then you can actually see some footage, because just showing pictures and stuff and targets is not all that exciting. So I'll keep it at that, and stay tuned. I will get some shooting footage of these pistols and more, as I got other ones too. So stay tuned.